Welcome back, gamers. Today we will be going over everything that we know about Ananta, including all of the changes since it was known as Project Mugen. To start, we'll take a quick look at the gameplay video for this story that was also included in the demo at Tokyo Game Show. First thing we see are these birds with a webcam for a head. Then we have these little moving rocks over here. From what the MC is saying, this is not their first encounter. This could mean that this story segment might not be the beginning of our story for Ananta. Also, this scene from the previous trailer, he had a chainsaw weapon that we have not seen again. Alright, let's skip ahead a little bit. We got Lakaya coming in. Oh, and that scene right there where the MC jumped into the car is also different. In the previous trailer, he closed the door with his psychic hands. Oh, the MC just said, "Who are you?" Meaning this is their first time meeting. In the previous trailer, they seem to already know each other. Skipping ahead some more. Seems there's been some confusion about the ACD status. Got some QTE. The MC using his Venom powers. Alright. That part right there where his powers got cancelled out by a sound wave, that's definitely similar to Venom. More QTE. Oh. You can see that this graffiti is actually moving. One of my biggest concerns was the lack of supernatural elements presented in the trailer that dropped right before TGS. The direction of the game now just doesn't feel the same as before. The reason for that is probably because the latest trailer mostly highlighted the free roam mode of the game, while the first two trailers were focused on story and setting. I think that the story mode and the free roam mode might stay separated like in the demo. To be clear, I am not saying that these changes in game direction is bad. I just personally prefer the art style and supernatural elements presented in the first two trailers. What I mean when I say supernatural element is essentially what is known as chaos. Chaos is essentially how the game explains anything supernatural. So far in this video, we've seen the birds with the webcam heads, the moving rocks, as well as the moving graffiti. Chaos is born from people's imagination. There can be good and bad chaos. Chaos also coexists with humans in this world. I have a theory that the good chaos is what caused characters like Taffy, Richie, and Lakaya to develop their physical traits like their animal ears and tails. The black matter crew that we saw are chaos beings who love rock music and were born from that connection. Chaos can appear in multiple forms, like the people with televisions on their head and also the rampaging machines. From this image here, you can see the black metal crew riding on a machine controlled by chaos. This big mosquito that we saw in the trailer is also probably controlled by Chaos. Chaos influence was definitely more prominent in the Project Mugen trailers. This graffiti scene right here was front and center, while this one was just in the background. It seems that Chaos can even affect the moon. And also from the screenshot, you can see that Banshee can also use the grappling hook. We also saw Taffy using the grappling hook from the previous trailer too. But now it seems that only the MC has this capability. I am hopeful that the other characters do get this ability back. Since there's no fall damage, and most of the bugs from the demo are just characters hanging in the air, probably from getting this mechanic removed. Then we got this screenshot right here of Chaos Stila. For our final example of what Chaos is, we have this persona-like battle. In the second trailer, we saw a man turn into this Chaos being. I wonder how boss battles will work since there's no party system and it's just a change of perspective when switching characters. Also, this image has Mechanica's ultimate, which seems to have been removed from every character. All characters now have multiple weapons and playstyles. They can still all wall run and also still have their psychic powers. They do still have some uniqueness to them. Like the MC has sort of venom powers, Taffy still has her hammer scooter, and Richie has her gauntlets and also police gameplay. Alright, now we get to the reason why this video came out earlier than expected. While I was writing the script for this video, I found this Reddit post that pretty much had everything that I wanted to discuss. So I will just use this as a guide instead and add some more insight where necessary. So shout out to this guy right here. We will be looking through this entire thing, but here's a brief TLDR. Everything in this TLDR is confirmed true by one of the developers himself. The first thing worth of note is that the city runs on a 24/7 cycle, where NPCs have actual routines. They plan to increase the urban density of existing regions over time. For example, more movies will be added to the theaters over time. Shops will have increased inventory, and there will be more activities to do. While you can do pretty much anything to an NPC, you can't actually kill them or knock them unconscious. Next, we have one of the main concerns addressed by the developer. Both the male and female MCs will be available in the final game. It's just that it wasn't advertised in Tokyo Game Show. The main storyline flows similarly, but there will be subtle differences in dialogue and character interactions. Then we have the biggest news of the event, the no gacha system for the characters. Characters are unlocked by progressing through the story or encountering them while exploring the open world. Now let's have a look at some of the characters we know. We have Taffy, the laid-back bunny girl who works for the Cat Express. She seems to be our main source of information. Then we have Richie, who works for the NCCA just like Lakaya. And then we got Seymour, who works for Eonbug. He is essentially the hacker and the tech guy of the group. Then we have Alan, who we briefly saw as a basketball player in the recent trailer. Then there's Banshee, who was actually the first character we saw in the Project Mugen trailer. From what we saw in the second trailer, Banshee seems to be an important character in this story arc. Then we got Lakaya, who serves as the director of the Nova City Crime Agency, the NCCA. Lakaya and Richie will probably be the ones to get us out of legal trouble when we are dealing with the chaos. And then we get Dila, which definitely will be important to the story of Ananta. I was very worried when such an important character was absent from the most recent trailer. Thankfully, we know that she still exists thanks to the gameplay demo. We also saw Mechanica in the gameplay demo, while Eileen and Ringo were shown in the recent gameplay trailer. We also saw Mimiko again. We also got confirmation that the cowgirl is named Anonym. We also saw the katana girl named Rin, as well as the baseball girl named GM. Then we got introduced to a new character, the guy with the white hair. The only character we didn't see again was pretty much the pink haired lady that was playing darts in the second trailer. The game plans to add new characters to match jobs in the city to give a variety of life experiences. Each character have their own story, side quests, and hidden missions, as well as schedules and homes. You can even modify their homes to your liking. Characters in this game have a reputation, and every time they do something bad, that reputation goes down, making it harder for them to get around town. So be careful when you're just roaming around town and destroying stuff. Next, we have some of the organizations of Nova City. We have the ACD, which the MC belongs to, that deals with all the chaos. Then we have the Cat Express for Taffy, which deals with information. Then we have Lakaya and Richie in the NCCA, which is pretty much a police force. Then we have Seymour in Ironbog. His storyline will definitely be the most unique. We also got the Dream Garden where Eileen works, as well as the DPA where Ringo works. There was also another organization named Aegis from the second trailer. This part is just talking about how the combat is inspired by action movies. Like this right here with Jackie Chan. Now we get to the part where we talk about the travel. In the gameplay demo, only the MC was able to travel through web slinging between buildings. Like I mentioned before, Taffy and Banzi also had these grappling features, but they don't seem to have them anymore. For vehicles, it has been confirmed that in addition to cars, there are also motorcycles, bikes, boats, and helicopters. You could also just take the in-game transit system for a fee. Next, there's the relationship mechanic of the game. The developers confirmed that Persona serves as a major inspiration for Ananta's character relationship system, which I am very excited about. Since each character have their own daily lives, schedules, and personal storylines, everyone playing the game will probably have a different experience. Now we get to the monetization model. Essentially, Ananta is just a live service game with microtransactions. The monetization will come from clothing customization, vehicle modification, and eventually real estate purchases. That being said, there are still free options. With over 700 people working on development across China and the Montreal studios, this is definitely a gamble. I really hope that this monetization model succeeds so that other gaming companies can follow. Alright, next we have the multiplayer and social features. Based on the multiple interviews, it seems that the multiplayer will be limited to a small group of players, unlike how an MMO works. Finally, we got some inspirations for the game as well as news for the release. The Unity engine really brings these inspirations to life. Like with Persona with the relationship mechanic and Yakuza with the urban life simulation. According to the developer, beta testing is planned soon, with global release as a key goal. Currently, the game is planned to release in 2026 for PC, consoles, and mobile. Alright, that about wraps up everything that we learned about Ananta at Tokyo Game Show 2025. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.